Alright, so in this video I'm going to be designing the sneaker onto the last. We don't really need the sole for this section, but I like to keep it around just so that I can continue putting it in and seeing how it looks as a whole. So we'll keep that to the side for now. I've already got my center line drawn in and at the back, and I've got my back height point in there. So I'm going to be designing the shoe just on one side, and then when we get to the pattern making stage, you'll see what I do where I sort of flip it. But essentially this is just to get our design however we want that to be. So I'm just going to start drawing on here. I hope this video doesn't get too boring. I'll try and just sort of explain what I'm doing as I go, but to be honest, I'm just kind of making up a sneaker design as I go. All right. So the first thing I like to do is start at the back, and I like to sort of get a bit of a, I like to go slightly higher than my back height point for starters, and I like to get a bit of a dip going on. You see that a lot in sneakers. The other thing to consider is how far away the laces are going to be from that center point. So you don't want to bring your laces right up to that center point. You want to have like a nice wide opening. So try and make sure that you design the side of the shoe not all the way up to that center line. So I've drawn in what feels to me to be a good side section. I want to have like an eye stay where the eyelets go. So I'm going to draw that in as well. Okay, so I've drawn in something like that. I also want to have a tab down the back here because I think it sort of gives a bit more strength to the sneakers, and I like the way it looks too. Okay, and then I also like to put like a little tab sort of thing at the top, so I'm just going to draw one in. I might change it a few times. Right, so in the back there I've drawn in this little section and a back tab down there. So it's starting to get a bit more, I don't know, structure to it. Alright, so the other thing I'm going to add in is a like toe cap kind of section, which I really like to do. I'm trying to draw in like a toe cap kind of section there, but I kind of want to give it like, I don't know, a bit of shape. So I'm going to maybe bring it up here like this and kind of bring it over the top there, and maybe just kind of like curve it in like that. If you're not sure what to design, you can definitely look to sneakers that you already own for inspiration. I feel like I want this whole side situation to be higher, and the only way for me to do that is to move my laces higher. So let's just change the shape of that ever so slightly. My other top tip is to rub out old lines as you go so that you know what you're looking at. So I have changed the angle of this front line now to be coming straight down here like that. So I'll change the whole eye stay to match that. Okay, so I've just put that curve back in. Now let's readdress this front section. So I guess I kind of want it to come up to about there at the highest point. Something like that. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and smoothed out this little back section just because I think it looks a bit nicer with my design. I'm not going to go any more complicated with this design because obviously this is a beginner's video, but it's worth mentioning that you can go to town on this. I mean, the more panels you want, you would just draw them in. You know, we've seen lots of sneakers out there that are really complicated with a lot of different pieces and a lot that are just really plain and simple. I think this is a good place to start for a beginner though. So there's my design. Another thing I like to do once I'm finished with my design is just place it into the sole and sort of visualize how it will look as a finished sneaker. Right, so last but not least, I like to just sort of plot out around about where the lace holes will be. Once you actually make this, you should measure them out so that they're perfectly spaced. A lot of people do that at this stage too, which you're welcome to, but I don't. I just roughly draw them in by eye so that I can figure out more or less how many laces I want to have. And I think on this one, about 6 would be good. Something like that. All right, I almost forgot one more really important thing that we have to do on this design, and that is draw in our tongue. So all we have to do for that is figure out how high it's going to come. So I would sort of say, maybe using that eye stay as a bit of a guide. And we can always extend this out once we lay it flat on paper. But we just want to get the height that it's coming to so that we can use that piece there. Cool. All right, and that's our design done.